Hi everyone, my name is Leticia and I'm the Adult Services Librarian at Harvard-Diggins Library. Today for our craft kit we'll be making these super fun rainbow keychains out of rope and embroidery thread. I'm so excited for everyone to try this craft. I'm really excited about it. I'm sad that unfortunately I'll be on maternity leave, so I won't be able to hand these out to everyone and see everyone's projects right away, but I think you're really going to like it. This craft ties in with our summer reading club theme this year in 2021, which is Reading Colors Your World. If you complete this craft during June or July 2021, even if you use your own supplies, if you weren't able to grab a craft kit, make sure to log it as an activity in your Beanstack account for an extra badge and raffle ticket. So if you'd like to see how we made this project, go ahead and keep watching. Okay, so let's begin working on our project. Your kit is going to come packaged looking like this. These are our craft kits that we'll be handing out. Your kit is going to come with 2 pieces of rope. One is going to be 7 inches long for the bottom strand of the rainbow, and one is going to be 8 inches long. I've already wrapped this one. Yours will come unwrapped. When you take the rope out of your craft kit, don't take the tape off of the ends. I have a piece of Scotch tape here. This is serving 2 purposes. For the first purpose, it's holding it together because as you can see, it wants to unravel. And the other purpose is that it gives us a little guide for where we're putting the embroidery thread. So it's about 1 inch on both sides. You're also going to get 2 packs of embroidery thread. So for this craft kit, they'll get this orange and this dark yellow. For mine, I have this dark pink and a lighter pink. You'll also get a key ring with a little chain on it and 1 split ring. You'll also get a little straight pin and a needle. You'll get a little packet of white thread. That's what this white cardboard is. I'm just going to use thread from this spool. And you're also going to get a thimble. These are just regular thimbles. Don't toss them when you finish the project. You can just put it in your sewing kit. It's a perfectly good thimble, but I wanted to make sure, since it'll be difficult to sew through the rope, that everyone had something that would make it a little easier. So to complete the project, all you really need is a pair of scissors. Optionally, if you don't want to sew the 2 pieces of rope together, you could just put your sewing pieces away, and if you have a regular hot glue gun and glue stick, you can use that. I will say it probably won't be as sturdy as sewing it, but that would make it go by a lot quicker. And I don't have one here, but if you have trouble with your hands, or if you don't have good nails, you might benefit from using a pair of pliers to open up the split ring. When it's time to use it, I'll show you that it's not really that difficult to open up. Of course, I just put lotion on my hands, so it's a little difficult for me. But pliers might come in handy if you have them, but they're not necessary. So to begin the project, I've got some wrapped up here still. We're going to start by wrapping the embroidery thread around our pieces of rope. So this one is already wrapped because I needed to make sure that everybody's thread would fit around the longer piece of rope. So this is what it's going to look like once you're finished. But to start out, we will open up our embroidery thread. And when we start wrapping, what we're going to do is bring about 1 inch of the embroidery thread over and then begin wrapping around that strand. So you can see what I'm doing here. Let me make sure. You'll start wrapping, and you'll want to wrap nice and tight, making sure that you're not leaving too much white space open from the rope. You can see there's still a few white spaces, but it's not too big of a deal. You can kind of push them around with your nail. But you're going to wrap your embroidery thread all the way down the length of the rope, holding it nice and tight. And the rope is kind of fluffy, so once you wrap it tight, it'll get a little smaller. But you'll want to do that all the way until we get to the end of the rope, right here where the tape begins on the other side. So I'll show you a little halfway. I'm halfway through. This is what it looks like. It doesn't look kind of fluffy, but we're still gonna just keep wrapping our rope, our embroidery thread around our rope until we get to the end. So now I'm nearing the end where the tape will meet the embroidery thread. Just gonna finish wrapping a few more times. So you can see there's a little bit of white showing, and that's okay. You can just use your nail to kind of move it over so there's not as much white visible. Now once we get to the end here, we're gonna tie a little knot around our rope to secure this side. I'm gonna tie a few knots just to make sure it's really secure. There's one knot. So you can trim off the ends now of the embroidery thread once you've had make your knots. So I'll trim this one too of my longer piece. And you'll have two wrapped strands, the smaller one and the larger one. And they'll go on each other like that. So first, before we start putting these two pieces of rope together, we're going to put our metal pieces together. So you're going to get rid of this on my hand. You're going to loop your split ring onto your keychain, so that's already on there. And then this is going to go on your longer piece of rope, on the one that will be on the top. So these split rings really are quite easy to open. You might want pliers if you have some like arthritis problems or if your fingers are kind of slippery, but it shouldn't be too difficult to open it up and get it wrapped around the top rope. And it should fit pretty securely on there, so you just squeeze it until it's secured. You can see how if you have pliers, it probably would get it a lot tighter. Okay, so now that that's secure, that's how it's going to hang on there. We can put the bottom piece of rainbow strand underneath here, and you can kind of line them up to see where they'll be most even. Your straight pin to kind of hold them together. So just thread it through the top and then through the other one. Be careful because the pin will kind of poke out here, but that at least will hold your place. Now you can thread your needle . Too much thread. I'm going to start out with about a yard because we're really only going to put a few pieces of thread through just to hold the two rainbow strands in place. like to double it up and make a double knot at the bottom so it's stronger thread. You have 2 strands. And then you can begin sewing through both of them. Now I'm going to grab the thimble from one of the kits because, like I said, you really will need a thimble to push the needle through the 2 pieces of rope. See, it'll just make it a little easier to push it through. You can pull that through. I'll trim out this little tail so you can't see it. But just make some nice wide stitches to hold the 2 strands together. So continue sewing, just a few to keep it together all the way down. While you work, try to bend it into the arch shape so it'll keep that rainbow shape while we're stitching it through. And alternatively, if you want, you can just put a line of hot glue and piece them together if you have a hot glue gun. Okay, so I finished my final stitch. I just put a few big stitches through both pieces of rope to hold them together. If you want to avoid seeing most of the thread on the outside, you can see there were some places where it still kind of shows through. You can start and stop and have a few knots of thread. So like have a bunch of stitches on one end and in the middle and on the other end. That way you don't see them as much. So I'm going to finally tie off this last knot. Cut that off, trim that off. And we're almost done. Actually, I've got one more piece to trim here. So now you can see the rainbow has kind of taken its shape and it's got the key ring around it. Now what we can do is take this tape off of the ends. You might need some scissors, I can't find the end of the tape. Some sticky Scotch tape we have here. Just be careful not to trim too much of the rope while you're doing that. There we go. And now it can fluff out because this white rope, when it fluffs out, kind of looks like clouds. And you can trim those clouds so they're a little more even, kind of come together. I'll take it off the other side too. Tape is. Okay, so now we've got all our tape on. We can fluff this out on the other side also. I'm gonna trim just a little bit so that they're a little more even. But that's it. there's our rainbow keychain. I really hope you enjoyed this craft kit. If you completed this project, don't forget to log it on your Beanstack account. You'll get an extra raffle ticket and a craft badge for completing this. Also take a picture of your project and send it to us at adultservices@harvard-diggins.org. We love looking at pictures of your completed craft projects. So also make sure to just subscribe to our Harvard Diggins Library YouTube channel for more fun videos, including storytime videos for the kiddos. Have a great day, guys.